Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Fresh-faced off the weekend, Chelsea victorious and finding their rhythm and form, and thankfully just in time as the season is coming towards an end. That's right, it's taken until May to find some form and fluidity, and it feels like the season is only just beginning. However, it is almost at its end. Now, Chelsea Football Club have been given a gift from the gods this weekend because Newcastle, unfortunately, did they beat Burnley? Yes, they did. They battered them. However, Tottenham lost at Liverpool and Manchester United were absolutely slapped last night by Crystal Palace. It was a sight to behold. Elise and Eze bopping and bouncing around in those half spaces. Ericsson, old elderly man, Evans, and a poor excuse for a Brazilian in Casemiro holding corn to your heart's content. It was a beautiful sight to behold. And listen, it was predictable. And we are now ahead of them on goal difference. So I'm going to make that clear as they are on the thumbnail, but they are now at our mercy. We are ahead of them on goal difference. We now no longer need to fear Manchester United, but we still need favours from them. And that's why they're here on the thumbnail, because we still need help, aid from a certain Manchester United institution. And we're going to get into that. But it's breaking. It's Pochettino. He is fighting for his life. He is fighting for his Chelsea career. And he has 3 games left to do it and do the unthinkable and make it a 5-game winning run in totality. Because a couple of days ago, according to Ornstein, there was this report breaking Chelsea hierarchy. Chelsea are demanding that they finish in the Europa League position. Now, unfortunately for Chelsea, this is not within their control. They could win all 3 of their next games and still finish in the Conference League position, which is where we are currently at. But you must be asking me or asking yourselves, what are the rules and regulations to finishing in Europa, in conference? What are the determined factors? Well, I want to take you through those rules and regulations so you are abundantly, emphatically, bombastically clear as a fan as to where we stand. The table is as it stands. Chelsea are 7th, okay? Chelsea are 7th. On 35 games played, they are 2 points behind Newcastle on 56 points, and they are 6 points behind Tottenham on 60 points. Everybody has played 35 games. There are 3 games left, right? The goal difference with Tottenham is very close. It's more than you can believe, very close. However, with Newcastle, I'm unfortunately going to tell you that there is no chance of catching that 22. With Tottenham, it's 11-11. Newcastle, we're not catching. So they cannot draw a game and us still be above them. We need them to lose. So with that information, you know we're 6 points behind Tottenham. You know we need Newcastle to lose a game in the last 3 for us to get ahead of them. So let's take a look at Newcastle's fixtures to start with, because that's the most realistic team we can get ahead of for that final Europa League place. So what's Newcastle's fixtures, you'll ask? Newcastle are at home to Brighton. They are away to Manchester United at Old Trafford, and they are away to Brentford. We need one of these 3 teams to beat Newcastle. Now, before yesterday's absolute piping by Palace, I would have said to you that Manchester United away is Newcastle's most difficult game. But bearing in mind the way that Manchester United are conducting themselves and stripping on the streets of South Norwood, I can't tell you that that game is going to go in our favour. Because what we need now is Manchester United to beat Newcastle. Is that possible? Is that too unrealistic to ask? You tell me in the comments. But that's what we need, because we are above Manchester United on goal difference and quite clearly as well. So we won't be finishing, in my opinion, behind Manchester United if we win all our games, unless they absolutely start slapping teams 9s and 8s. Okay? Now we're asking Brighton to go to St James's Park, or we're asking Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium to beat Newcastle. That is what we need. One of these 3 teams to beat Newcastle. Now let's go to Tottenham, because Tottenham are playing Burnley at home, Manchester City away, Manchester City at home and Sheffield United away. Two teams in the deep depths of the Premier League. One team in Sheffield United that are already relegated on the final day. I am going to completely scrap that as a possibility that they could take points off Tottenham if it needed to happen on the final day. I wouldn't think they'd have the capacity, the facilities, the capabilities. However, they are talking as a fan base about throwing the game against City. So if we deduct 3 points from Tottenham, just on that basis, that leaves us within 3 points. Because we're 6 points currently. Take a look at the table again. They're on 60, we're on 54. Deduct 3 because Man City apparently are going to pipe them. So that leaves us with Burnley. They play Burnley at home. It's unrealistic to ask of Burnley to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Chicken Ball Stadium and win. However, I want you to take a look at the Premier League relegation battle. Burnley sit 19th on 24 points, 2 points off Luton Town. They play Tottenham this weekend coming. And guess what? They have to win. If Burnley want to survive, they have to beat Tottenham away from home this weekend. It's a tall order. It's a big task, but they have to find a way. And I'm hoping that grit, determination, and the fact that Postecoglou continues to play Emerson Royale at left back instead of Van der Ven and bringing in Dragerson or Dragon. And instead of having firing forwards, they are looking pretty damn peak up front. We're seeing Kulu not looking too cool. We're seeing a lack of creativity from Maddison. We're not seeing the quality from Werner and Son and Richarlison, or Richard as I like to call him. So there is the point that Tottenham are on a poor run. There is the point that Tottenham are demoralised. There is a point that Tottenham are conceding goals by the truckload. And we are going to be praying that Datro Fofana can send the final dagger and can put Tottenham in a precarious position where if they play Manchester City at home on Tuesday, on the 14th of May, next week, that they will be in two minds. Because they will try to beat Manchester City and help Arsenal, or they will lose and they will help us. And they will have no middle ground. It will be a collapse regardless. So we will be there. But that's only if Burnley can do the unthinkable. So Tottenham are unrealistic, but I just want to bring them in because mathematically it's still possible. But we spoke about Tottenham. We spoke about Newcastle. So that's where it sits. Now, Manchester United play Arsenal at home at Old Trafford on Sunday, this Sunday. Then they have Newcastle at home, as we spoke about earlier. We need Manchester United to beat Newcastle if the opportunity arises and Newcastle have not lost the previous match. We need them to beat Newcastle so we have a chance of finishing ahead of them. And obviously all of this is said with Chelsea needing to win all 3 games. That's obvious. And then they play Brighton away. And like I said, we don't need to worry about Man United too much because if we really want Europa League, we should be winning our last 3 games without any sort of hassle. I know Nottingham Forest away is very tough. They're in a relegation scrap too. As we showed and we'll show again the relegation scrap, Nottingham Forest are very much in contention for relegation. So City ground is going to be tough. But this is with the assumption that yes, we will win all our games and we must. And who do we play, you might ask? We play Nottingham Forest away, then we play Brighton away, and then we play Bournemouth at home. 2 teams that aren't fighting for anything and 1 team that is fighting for their lives. If we want Europa League football that badly, we must win all games. That is self-explanatory. I don't even have to tell you, right? So that's the layout of the league. To summarise, Newcastle must lose a game. Tottenham would need to lose 2 out of the last 3. And of course, our goal difference would need to be better than Tottenham's as well, whilst winning 3. But I believe it would be if they were to lose 2 out of 3, naturally. And of course, Manchester United, the only thing we need from you is to beat Newcastle. Will you be able to do that? Now, more information that you're going to need going into this, not just that. What happens if Manchester United win the FA Cup? Well, I'll tell you what happens. If Manchester United win the FA Cup, then they get a Europa League spot. And that means 6th is no longer a Europa League spot. It's a Conference League spot. And 7th is not a European spot at all. And this is if Manchester United, of course, finish outside of Europe. So if Manchester United finish, just to make this clear, where they currently are, let's bring up the Premier League as it stands. If Manchester United finish where they currently sit, which is 8th, that is not a European spot because coefficient points didn't get going for us this year in England because we were shit in Europe. Thanks, everyone. Right? Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Villa. Look like you're going to go out to Newcastle. So it's just the standard 7 spots. If Manchester United finish 8th, the spots in front will start to fall. 7th will not be a European spot. 6th will be a Conference League spot. And Manchester United winning the FA Cup will take Europa League automatically. So this is why they're involved in the thumbnail. Because Manchester United have a part to play. Not only against Newcastle, but then we also need them to get slapped up to Manchester City in the FA Cup final. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. And I needed to explain it so you could be crystal clear going into the last 3 games as to what we need and to what we are begging for on these hate-alongs. And I'm calling them hate-alongs now and making it clear I'm not here to fuck about, all right? So that's what it is. So that's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? That's the situation. Those are the fixtures. That's what we need from each fixture or from each team. And that is the predicament we may find ourselves in if Manchester United win the FA Cup. And that is why we're bringing Tottenham in this, because it's not completely out of the question. It's not mathematically impossible to finish in 5th. And 5th is a guaranteed Europa League spot, regardless of what happens in the FA Cup final. So there you have it. That is how Pochettino is fighting for his life to save his Chelsea career and these players to save their skin. That is the daunting task that lies ahead. We need 9 points from 9 and luck along the way. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you think it's feasible. You let me know in the comments down below if you think it's possible and where and how in the hell are we going to do it? Who is going to be in what position? Give your predictions in the comments. What do you think is going to happen in the FA Cup final? That is also very important. And that is the situation. So big up your damn selves. Make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Big up. In a bit, people. Peace.
Thank you.